Welcome to Reading in the Year of Our Lord 2019. And we actually had a couple questions about this. Is this like about the Old Testament? We're like, no. No, it is not. Wrong themes. So these lovely ladies are here to just discuss reading and escapism and self-care and everything kind of about reading in our current times. And I'll let them introduce themselves. I'm Sam from Thoughts on Tones.
Hello everyone, I'm Oshalay from Oshi Reads.
And I'm India from Life is a Page Turner.
And I'm Jess, formerly from Jess Reads Books, but I decided to change it to Jess Nevertheless 2 weeks before doing this.
But they changed the hair look. My name is Nicole Feeney, and I'm going to go down the line and let all of our panelists introduce themselves.
Hi, I'm Kathy Trickhart. Yes, that's how you say my weird ass last name. BookNet Fest day. It's so fun to watch you guys try to pronounce it. It's very amusing. I create booktube content and I co-host the Queer Lit Readathon twice a year.
Hi, my name is Olivia, also go by Livy, and I have a YouTube channel, I Livy for Books. I talk about books, do art. If I'm good with myself, I'll talk about movies, but I've been lagging it over there, and yeah, just like to share what I do.
I'm Nina Moreno. I'm the author of Don't Date Rosa Santos, out with Disney Hyperion.
Hi, I'm Meredith Sims. I'm an Orlando local and I'm a show writer in the themed entertainment industry, so I do a lot of adaptations, not for movies, but for theme park attractions. I write all the show scripts.
But I had a good time working on that. And so, that is the environment in which I sort of got to exercise my interest in film and filmmaking and video production, you know, putting images, you know, sound and image together to tell stories. And so when I started vlogging for my channel, doing you know, little videos about my trips to conferences and things like that, I just kind of naturally applied some of those, you know, some of the ideas, some of the tips and the tricks and the techniques that I had just picked up from other folks that I had met and worked with in the past. Each shot is like the sentence that takes the audience further and further and further into the story. You know, it's it creates tone. It has to do with pacing. Everything that sort of it gets the emotional involvement. Although you can sometimes be a little bit more dynamic with that. You can fade out and then cut back in. You know, sometimes that can give your viewer a nice little jolt for get them into the next sequence of your story. With nothing else to sort of tie them together, it's just going to look like a bunch of clips, you know. And the sound is going to be jarring, by the way. It'll be like noise here and then like this sound here and all that. So what montages really need to use in order to work is some kind of a unifying element. And
Okay, so it's been some time since we last chatted. I haven't really been very chatty in this particular vlog so far. So let me give you kind of a rundown of the day. This morning, they had a meet and greet from 10 to 11. So I did go down to registration at about 9:30. So I had a chance to kind of informally meet and greet some of the people who were panelists or people that I wasn't necessarily going to run into before the event otherwise, because they were in the meet and greet, like they had decided to go to it. And so that was really nice. And then I met the second wave of people who didn't go to that, got to visit with them for a little bit. The juxtaposition of people going from 2D to 3D was a little bit overwhelming initially. Some impressions of people that I got were slightly different than who they are in real life. And there's nothing wrong with that. And I'm happy to be corrected about it. And that's totally fine. No worries there. On the other hand, let's get into the panels. So the keynote was Sam and Marty, of course, and they played this newlywed game and they had a fun time. And then they kind of let you know about the event, some changes that had to happen. Like some of the panelists weren't able to actually make it in. So they had to change up some of the panels, which is totally fine, not a big deal. And I just noticed there's a speck on my lens. That's probably better for you. And I also just ended up really enjoying their chemistry together and looking at their vision for what they hope BookNet Fest will continue to become. and it's great. I'm really looking forward to seeing what these two amazing ladies do with this. And then I went to 2 panels in a workshop. The first panel we went to was Reading in the Year of Our Lord 2019, and it was all about like reading for escapism and all those kinds of things. Most of the panelists end up escaping to romance, and that was really fun for me, being a romance lover. My brother, who was attending it, on the other hand, didn't really care for that portion of that panel, which was fine. The rest of it was really great, and he really enjoyed the content there. And then the next one we went into was They Ruined the Thing That I Love. I was talking about adaptations, good and bad, and that was a really fun panel. We both had a fabulous time at that one. It was entertaining, it was engaging. They had somebody who writes scripts for like theme parks and rides there to talk as well, and so her take on things was really quite interesting to me. I found that to be something that I probably wouldn't have found at another bookish convention, because that was just such a unique look and spin on things that I was pleasantly pleased. And then the last thing we did for BookNet Fest for day one was the Vlog Like a Filmmaker workshop that Thomas from SFF 180 was kind of in charge of and running. And I thought he had a lot of great information for beginners as well as people who are a little more experienced. I felt like he tried to play to both sides. I do think he favored the 101 a little bit, but that's totally fine. In that kind of a situation, it's hard to gauge how much you need 101 and how much you want advanced. So if this workshop happens in a future year, I think it would be best to almost split it into 2, where you have a 101 where you go over all the basics, and then a more detailed advanced one for those who already know all the 101 information and want the nitty-gritty details, fine details, honing your craft kind of a situation. So anyways, that's kind of a rundown really quickly on day one, as you saw from the previous clips. And yeah, so far so good with BookNet Fest. I'm really enjoying my time. I do plan on doing a full like review of the conference after I get home, where I'm going to talk about a lot about the hotel and accommodations, about, you know, the choice of location for the event and those kinds of things. I will be talking about that in a separate dedicated BookNet Fest experience / what to expect video. This is just my vlog, so again, as I said, that will be a separate entity, separate video kind of thing. But so far so good. I'm really loving it. I'm really enjoying getting to know everybody and kind of network, you know, go from 2D to 3, put names to faces much better. And it's just been a really good time so far. So here's hoping day 2 goes as well as day 1. Hi friends, so I am officially back to my hotel room after BookNet Fest prom, and I wanted to talk to you guys kind of about today and how everything went with BookNet Fest, because this is kind of a review as well as my experience going to Florida and going to BookNet Fest. Tomorrow I'll be doing my collab with April, and then other than that, I'm just kind of flying home, so we're not doing anything too crazy tomorrow. But I do want to talk to you guys about my experience here. So I didn't really vlog anything today. I was just kind of tired. My camera wasn't charged. It just wasn't a good fit. So I didn't really vlog much actual footage today. So please forgive me for that. I've inserted some photos kind of the day and what was going on. So hopefully that will kind of suffice for what you will be seeing in this portion. So first off, I want to talk about the place we've stayed. We've stayed at the Caribe Royale, which is where the event is hosted. And the hotel room is really nice because I brought my younger brother with me. We are in one of the suites that has the 2 queens, and then it has your bathroom area, and then it has the separate room, which I am currently in. Now, lighting wise, all the lighting is really warm. So if you're wanting to collab in your room rather than in their collaboration room, then you should just be aware of that. April is stayed over at Buena Vista next door, and we did our collaboration. We are doing our collaboration over in her room. So that will kind of be what you'll see instead. Her room's a little bit lighter, a little bit cooler toned, and so it's just going to be a better fit for this particular time. You can always collab like outside by the pool and stuff with people as well, but we just didn't feel like doing that. So anyways, that's kind of about the Caribe Royale. I did not have a positive experience with their Tropical restaurant. We ate there the day we got in, which was Wednesday night, for dinner after the plane ride because we wanted something fairly substantial. It was very overpriced for what we were served, in my opinion. The menu, I couldn't customize any of the items, which was a little bit frustrating, so I went with something that seemed pretty safe with a steak. In this steak, I did find plastic. I will insert the picture here, and I don't know if that's on their kitchen's end or whoever they ordered it through's end, but that was a little bit disappointing considering how much I paid for the plate in particular. But that just kind of like turned me off to the rest of that food. So if you're going to eat at the hotel, one of the restaurants was closed, so I can't speak for it. It's opening up again like next week after we're all already gone. But most of us were eating at Cafe 24, which is a little cafe that's open 24/7. They don't do like a continental breakfast, and so like they have like croissants and all those kinds of things. We did get the breakfast paninis from the grill part of Cafe 24, and that was absolutely delicious. But anything we basically had at Cafe 24 tasted really good. Most of it's kind of snackish, but in the actual like cafe part, the pizzas were really good. We tried several different varieties, and they were all delicious. And then the paninis were good, specifically the breakfast ones, and the chicken one are the ones that we tried and ended up having a really good experience with those as well. And again, those are fairly simple items, but we did feel that the price we paid was pretty fair for the quality of food we got there. I didn't feel like I was breaking the bank by going there. All the drinks are overpriced, so expect that. But anyhow, so accommodation-wise, the rooms are lovely. The food options were okay. We did go over and try the Italian restaurant that was in the Buena Vista Hotel. I believe it's called the Vista Bistro, and that was absolutely delicious and a really fair price. So definitely keep that in mind if you don't necessarily feel like the cafe food or if the other restaurant isn't very good. Maybe I just had the Tropical on a bad day. A lot of other people ate there and they seemed to really enjoy it. Those are people who were like return attendees. So I don't know if it was just a bad day or just a bad steak or what with that. So anyways, let's move on to the panels. The panels, some were better prepared than others, if I'm honest. Sam and Marty always did a great job when they were moderating panels, in my opinion. I felt like they were very thoroughly researched and they had some fabulous questions. Some of the others, not so much. Most of the panels I attended, I really enjoyed, but they did feel very 101. And these are a lot of things that I was already aware of the conversation within the community. And so I was hoping for that kind of like next level, let's do a deep dive. What can we do to help change this kind of a conversation? And I didn't feel like that was really happening. One of my favorite panels was actually the Goth Fantasy panel. That was with Sam and Emily Duncan. I really enjoyed that panel. I thought it was a lot of fun. I thought the girls were very passionate, and it was just a really good time. I really had the best time in that one. It was entertaining and funny while also being very informative. Sorry, I noticed my battery is getting low, so I'm just gonna plug it in so that I don't have to cut you off. For the panels, I thought all the panelists were well versed in what they were asked to speak about, so I don't think it's an issue of that. I just feel like the questions being asked were on the 101 level when I wanted those to dive deeper. Once the panels opened it up to questions from like the audience, I felt like we got a little more information, and I think that helped like move the conversation forward and helped people get some action points or some recommendations for books or whatever. I did also attend one workshop. I did attend the Vlog Like a Filmmaker workshop that Thomas from over at SFF 180 did, and I really liked what he chose to do. He actually had handouts and stuff. He was very thorough. He really put a lot of effort into that, and I really applaud him for doing that. I do, a lot of the stuff in there was kind of 101, and he admitted that from the beginning. He owned that, and that's totally fine. I really did get some valuable information out of that class, and some ideas were shared within the class that were things I hadn't even thought of. So I do think that the workshop was worth it. I had some other friends who did the other workshops, and they seemed to have a pretty good time. And some people just wish they would have made different decisions, like with the book defacing and whatever. Just, they felt like it was flaking because they put too much on or whatever. But for the most part, everybody enjoyed the workshops that they went to. I did participate in the book swap. That felt a little bit chaotic to me, again, if I'm honest. And just because there was no orderly system in people getting a chance to pick out the books that they want. They handed out tickets, so I just thought that they were going to call the numbers and say, okay, ticket number this, you're the start of the line. Everybody kind of line up after that and go from there. But instead it was just kind of this free-for-all around a table, and everybody just dug in. Thankfully, I'd had an opportunity to look at the book swap pile and pick out what I wanted. I did take 5 books to the book swap, but I only took 3, and then I did hand my ticket to somebody else so that they had a chance to claim a couple of the books. But I decided to grab the Glass series from Maria V. Snyder, which is part of the study series. The study series is technically in 3 trilogies, and this is the middle trilogy. I don't own them physically. I read them through the audiobook because I really like the narrator, Gabra Zachman, and so I have wanted to collect physical copies for my shelves. So being able to get this entire trilogy and not have to pay a penny, and I was able to unhaul some books that I was already wanting to get rid of, makes me feel really good because I felt like that was an even trade for me. So I am really excited to actually have these for my at-home collection now. Now I just need to track down the first trilogy and the last trilogy. But anyways, so that was a little chaotic for me, but other people seemed perfectly fine with it. I don't know if that's the norm for that particular part of the event, but the one thing that was new to everybody this year was the BookNet Fest prom. For the most part, the prom was quite fun. It took everybody a little bit to kind of get comfortable, get warmed up, get to a point where they were ready to do this. And that's totally fine. We're all nerds, we're all introverts. Of course, it was gonna take some time. So a couple of things. The music variety wasn't as much as I hoped. There weren't ever really any times where it slowed down a little bit. Not necessarily for like lovey slow dances, but like the beats were too similar across the board. I needed some variety for me personally because I was starting to get a headache, so I did opt to leave at about 11, even though it went till 12. I did stay out in the lounge and visit with some friends instead, and it's after 1 o'clock in the morning now, but I wanted to talk to you while all of this was very fresh. And so on that note, it ended up being relatively a good experience. I do feel like I finally got to talk to some of the creators that I had been afraid to talk to before then. I mean, I had talked to Sam and Martinez kind of in passing before that point, but I hadn't ever really gotten a chance to like sit and spend some time with him. Sam let me get a picture with her. I wasn't ever able to catch Martinez long enough to get a picture with her, and I'm a little sad about that, but I did get a chance to visit with her and some of the other creators that I'd seen and said hi to, but I hadn't had a chance to talk to, or creators that I had made an idiot of myself in front of, and then finally did actually get the opportunity to sit and talk with them like I was hoping to. So Alexa Dunn and I had a little moment at the dance. We really kind of connected. We're similar in age, we have similar music taste, and we were just getting along really well, and that was really fun to experience with someone in the community. I finally got to spend some time with Connor, and Connor and I have been talking on and off the platform for years, and I got to meet his partner, and his partner was great, and I really just loved getting to spend some time with him because he's someone that I've always felt like would be just one of those real life true friends kind of people. So it was nice to still have that feeling like in person with him, and that was a really good time. I do wish I would have gotten to spend some more time with him and that crew and Lainey and everybody, but I understand they have their circle of friends and I don't want to just butt in. That's not my business. So I would have loved to have spent some time with them, of course, but they don't get to see each other very often either, so I wasn't about to stamp on their time. And I think that was another thing that I noticed is there were kind of some friend groups already going here at BookNet Fest, and coming kind of by myself. I mean, I brought my younger brother, so I wasn't alone. And I knew a couple of friends that were coming. But outside of that, I came just hoping to get to know people and connect and make some new friends. And I think I did, because some of the people that I'd like seen in my comments, I finally got to see in person. And I felt like I did get to grow to some of them closer. But like some of the people that I've been watching for years, I felt like I never really got a chance to go and talk to them, or I never really got a chance to like be around them long enough because they were always with their friends. And that was a little disappointing for me. I wouldn't say that I came here expecting to be best friends with everybody when I left. That's not a realistic expectation of any sort of event like this. So if that's your expectation going, you need to like check that like reality right there, because that's not going to be the case. One, because not all personalities get along, and two, just because that's way too many people to try to become brand new friends with. But I did get to connect with some creators that I didn't know. There was a guy named Zach that I talked with him several times throughout the conference, and he was just a genuinely good dude. Anybody I talk about, by the way, will be linked down below. And I really enjoyed connecting with him. He reads horror. I don't, but we still found stuff to talk about. He just seemed like a genuine person. He was about to become a wallflower way too early in the night, so I just drug him over to the table with me and my friends so that he had people to talk to and hang with for a while. So anyhow, that's kind of my experience with BookNet Fest. For the most part, it was good. I do think it was a bit far away for me to regularly attend. This would be something I could maybe do every other year, but I don't think I could do this every year. For me, just my travel accommodations for like hotel, flights, and not even like food, I'm looking at like $900 just for food and hotel, or not food and hotel, flight and hotel. And that's not including food or anything else I plan on doing while I'm here in Orlando, let alone the ticket price to get in and, you know, donations that I'm happy to give to help keep this event running. And I guess the big question here is, did I get my money's worth out of the trip? And I don't have an answer for that yet. I still have the collab tomorrow and my flight home tomorrow. And once I'm home and fully rested and had a night's sleep in my bed with my husband cuddling me and my cats around me, I'll probably have a more realistic feel of whether I felt like it was worth the money or not. Right now, my answer would be no, just because it was so expensive to get here and all of the food was expensive. And compared to my cost of living in Utah, it's expensive. I should clarify. Cost of living in Utah is pretty low for the nation. And so all of this was very expensive for me. And I don't regret coming. I will say that right now. I don't regret it. I got to connect with some amazing people, and Cammie's Corner and I spent quite a bit of time together, and that was spending time with her and with April finally have probably been some of my favorite parts of this conference, just because I got quality one-on-one time with these people, and I really got to feel that friendship in real life. And that was a big reason why I came to this conference, is for friendships and connections and all those kinds of things. Yes, the panels are lovely, and I enjoyed attending the panels, and I did get some valuable information out of the panels. But that wasn't the biggest reason why I came. The biggest reason I came is for connections and to make friends, and just because, and I don't think I purposely tried to hide from people. Like on Friday night, which was after day 1 of the convention, because everything was done by about 5 that first day, except for a bookish trivia that was happening at about 8. So I grabbed my dinner, I went up to my room, I got settled, and I'm like, you know what? I don't feel like being in the room. So I took a book down to the lounge, like the little lounge part next to Cafe 24, and I put on the BookNet Fest Discord. I'm just like, hey, I'm hanging out over by Cafe 24 if anyone wants to come talk to me. I just feel like being out of the room. Yes, I am reading, but I would much rather be talking to you. So please come by, say hi. And, you know, I had a couple people come by, or if somebody walked by, I made sure I waved and said hi and some things like that. But, you know, so I didn't try to purposely just like keep myself cooped up in my room. And so I did try to extrovert some. I'm not a perfect extrovert, obviously. I used to be much better at that part. But, you know, I didn't try to like hide away in my room. But I also didn't try to force myself on people, because that's not something that I'm ever an advocate for, is forcing yourself on people. That's not what I do. At least never intentionally. So if you felt I forced myself on you, I'm really sorry. That was never something I would ever dream of doing consciously. So I just ended up really connecting with a few people. I was hoping to connect with a few more and spend a little more time with some of the people that I've been watching for years. But like I say, I understand they have their own friend groups, and I'm not going to force myself on them. That's just never what I'm going to do. So anyway, that's kind of my rundown right now. I know this was a really long segment of this vlog, but I hope it was informational for you at least, and that you got some solid information out of it. And as I say, after I fly home, after I get a really good night's sleep at home in my bed, I will give you a follow-up on my feelings and if they've changed and things like that. Probably when I'm editing this video, if I'm honest, because I've got other things I have to edit first. So, hi guys, editing Gremlin Shay here. So I did wanted to do a follow-up. It's been about a week since I got home from BookNet Fest. I've had some time to sit and ponder on the event. And I have to honestly say that this is one I wouldn't attend every year, because it is such a financial tax on me. I mean, all in all, I ended up spending about $1,500 to go to this conference and to eat and all those kind of things. And I'm not even including my Universal ticket in this, because as you saw in the previous vlog, Universal wasn't a great experience for me, so I didn't even include that in everything else. But that's like my food for the days I was there. That was like cabs back and forth to the airport, flights, hotel, all that kind of stuff. So it was a very expensive trip for me. Again, I do not regret going, and I would go again in the future. I do wish the panels were above the 101, because I feel like we were already having these discussions online. I went to the event to get a little bit more, didn't really feel like I got that. But yes, I do feel like the event is worth it. If you want to go and connect with creators, I think you're going to get what you want out of the event, because it is a great opportunity to connect to people and to go from 2D to 3D with a variety of creators. And I did meet some new creators while I was there. I'm subbed to new channels now, and it's been really, really fun, and I really enjoy it. And if I met you there, please comment down below. I want to make sure I'm following you, because everybody that I connected with, I want to make sure that I'm supporting their content and their channels. And again, that's just kind of my thoughts. I don't know if anybody is in the manga space like I am, but I have been talking about trying to do something similar for strictly manga collectors and reviewers in the same way. I don't know if Sam and Marty would want to like collab with me on something like that, because that's not really their niche. But if they ever wanted to do a branch of BookNet Fest that was more manga centered, I would love to kind of help them front run that and all those kinds of things. And I'm already trying to work that out. But anyways, this event did inspire me to be a better creator and to change up some things. So it is a helpful conference, especially if you're feeling like you're in a little bit of a slump. Go to an event like this and it'll help reinvigorate you and make you want to create content again and help you feel inspired and all those kinds of things within the community. So thanks again for watching. Back to BookNet Fest Shay. Thanks again for watching this video and this vlog and this journey with me. I'm so grateful to you for watching this and being interested in what I have to say about BookNet Fest. I do want to thank Sam and Mighty Ness for putting this on, and it really has been, I have enjoyed myself while I've been here. And so I don't regret it, but it's one of those things where I don't know if I'd do it again, at least not right away, unless I knew the panels were going to be a little more in-depth, past the 101 of these kinds of conversations. You know, anybody who's on book Twitter or pays attention to marginalized creators at all, we're already in the 101s of those conversations. And so I really think that, oh, sorry, it is late. But as I was saying, if you've been paying attention at all, you would have already had the 101 on most of these. So if they ever like upped the ante of what we were talking about at the convention, because I think in a group of like-minded people like we are with, who were all pretty aware of the 101, I really think we could have had deeper discussions about these kinds of things. And so that's what I was hoping for this weekend and didn't get. And so that would probably be my biggest critique, is that I wanted more than the 101 on the panels. So hopefully now that the event's getting bigger, they can do more in-depth things in future, or maybe have some people on the panels who are interjecting those above 101 kind of answers. And I think that would be really, really like helpful in future. So that would be the biggest critique, and just variety in the playlist at prom. But Sam had already mentioned at the dance that she already has plans for that, and like themes and people helping pick out the music, so it's not just her, and some things like that. So I do think that will, this was the first year for that, so I fully expected for there to be some changes and modifications in that. You can tell I'm losing my voice a little bit because I have been talking and putting myself out there, so I hope I still have enough of a voice tomorrow for the collab with April, and then after that I can just be quiet until I'm home. So anyways, again, thank you for watching this video. I know it got a little rambly in there, but I really hope you got the information that you were hoping to out of this video. So thank you again for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.